So welcome everyone to MindBE Education's series, and I'm very happy to welcome one of my colleagues and dear friends, and someone that I've known for I think just over a year now, and really admire. Her name is Cherine Kurdi. She's based in the GCC area. So she travels around a lot, and she's an expert in many things, which are going to help us today. She was a brand specialist working in a corporate environment, and then went on to develop feminine leadership programs. But she really works with people on relationships, self-compassion, and so many things that can help us as women. So that's why I invited her to share her knowledge with us today and help us to become more self-compassionate, which is something I think we all need. So welcome, Cherine.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Helen. I'm happy to have this conversation with you today. And it's lovely to be able to talk more and dive deeper into the topic of self-care and self-compassion, because we need more of that in our day-to-day, especially as women.
Definitely. So first of all, maybe you can just tell us a little bit more about your background and how you moved from kind of working in corporate and brands into this field of helping women really come into their power and their good feelings and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, it didn't happen at a click of a button, but back in 2002, I was working as a brand strategist and leading multinational agencies in the GCC area, specifically between Dubai and the MENA region. And so I was handling those big accounts, those big international accounts such as L'Oreal and Coca-Cola. And I absolutely felt no satisfaction, no self-satisfaction whatsoever. So I was succeeding in what I was doing, but I did not feel that it was lighting me up really from the inside out. So every time I would get promoted, or my bosses would say, wow, great work, or my clients would be like, oh, we love working with you, I felt like, oh, it's nice, but there was something that was off inside of me. And I remained curious about it because, after some time when you feel like you're successful or you're being promoted, you're being appreciated, but deep down inside, I didn't feel that sense of wow, that sense of achievement kind of alarmed me. And I started noticing there were parts of myself that were not fully expressed in what I was doing. And the parts of myself that were not fully expressed are, the part of me that wanted to create, the part of me that wanted to be location independent, the part of me that wanted to contribute. And I didn't feel that my role allowed me to do that. I mean, it allowed me in a certain way, but I wanted more. And so I remained curious of that feeling. And bit by bit, there's a moment I realized that the only way for me to explore something else was to just quit. And that was one of the most difficult decisions I made, but it was the most powerful one that I've done, in my career and in my life, to choose something different. I did not have a plan B at first. I started consulting, just to create an income. But bit by bit, I started going back really to what did I want to experience? How did I want to feel in my day-to-day life? And I wanted to feel that freedom, that sense of contribution, that sense of using my creativity, inspiring people, helping them with certain knowledge that I have that I could share with other people. Now, in my role, what I loved is actually supporting my team members with when they had difficulties or challenges around how to deal with people who are difficult. You know, how to be able to create a connection with their team members or their bosses, which they feel they're difficult. The other place where I felt like, wow, you know, I would love to do this is when people wanted to explore their potential. I love to have conversations around possibilities. What can I do? What can I explore? What are my dreams? And this is something that I really had I mean, it was present in my day-to-day, because this is who I am as a person. And I had a special interest in women, because I feel that as women we have a lot of things in our, you know, in our day-to-day, in our minds, in our hearts, in we want to do well, we want to achieve, we always want to be our best, and it's something that comes natural to us to always want to expand our horizons, to grow, because we are actually you know, the creator of kids, you know, the creator of the next generation. And that world of women was intriguing to me in a sense that I wanted to contribute to that world, because I know that when I contribute and I light up and I help a woman get lit up, it has an immediate ripple effect to her community, to her circle of trust, to the people she gets to work with, to her life partner that she gets to live with, and to her family. So that's how it really started, like organically, and then I realized that I had a huge interest in that, and I continued my studies and I started consulting. And the beautiful part is I mixed my background in brand strategy, because ultimately when you want to present yourself to the world, it has to do, like, you know, your own personal brand as a human being, you know, in the world. What do I want? What do I think? What are my values? Where am I going? Who do I want to have in my life? And it's the same thing as a brand. Of course, there are many layers when I work in women's leadership, where it's how do I want to be as a woman? What do I believe in? What do I want to create through my work, through my family, through my love relationship? What are my dreams? What do I want to explore? What do I stand for? And those are themes that really light me up, and I love to explore them with my clients and people I get to work with.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. And one thing that I have to say is it takes a lot of courage to quit a good, you know, what people would consider the kind of dream job or a really good job. You know, you must have really felt that passion in your heart to make that change.
It's true.
It's not easy to give it up for the unknown. So, and that's really holds a lot of people back, doesn't it, when they can't push forward in that step to follow their dreams. So I'm so happy we have people like you to help to get past that step. So today we're going to kind of talk about two things. One is about self-compassion and self-care, and then we're going to move into talking about relationships with our spouse or partner, and also with our children, and how we can improve those. So Cherine, can you just tell us what is self-compassion and what is self-care, and why is this something that we should be thinking about as women in the first place?
Yes, that's a big question and a big loaded topic. First of all, you know, when we talk about self-compassion and self-care, I love to start, first of all, to look at how we give time during our day just to stop and pause. How are we comfortable with pausing and just noticing, Helen, what comes to our mind when we're just sitting and not doing anything, just for a moment? What automatically comes to our mind? And what I notice when I ask this question to a lot of women is, oh, no, like, I can't stop. Like, I have to always be on the go. And that guilt feeling comes up. oh, I should do this, I should do that, I have to do this, I cannot rest, I'm a lazy bum if I do that. So when you say to people somehow self-care, women think automatically self-care equals a massage.
Right. Yeah.
But I need to say this because this is the conversation I have. You know, they think, okay, self-care is I'm indulging into something that is relaxing. Actually, self-care is a daily practice. It's the same thing as I'm combing my hair, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm taking my shower, I'm sleeping, I'm eating, I'm self-caring. And I need to explain why self-care needs to be a practice, and then we'll go deeper into what self-care is for each and every one of us. Self-care needs to be a practice because self-care is equal replenishing your energy. Yeah. So it's a time to replenish yourself. It's a time where you're like, it's not about others, it's about plugging ourselves into something that we know feeds us, nourishes us, and replenishes our batteries. You know, we're filling up our batteries. What is it? It might be different. So for me, dancing really replenishes me and it gives me energy. Being in a silent space just for a moment, you know, just having my meditation or just being in silence for 10 minutes is a way for me to recharge my batteries. Yeah. So self-care is about understanding when will we be crossing our boundaries of being tired and exhausted and depleted, and understanding where we have to stop before that to recharge our batteries. Because you and I and all the women listening to us right now, we are not robots.
Right, for sure.
But we're not. We're women of feelings. We have many layers. There's a lot of things, you know, that's going on in our day-to-day. But self-care is a way to say, wait a minute, I need to recharge my batteries. So what I want to ask the women listening to us is, what do you know recharges your batteries instantly? And we all have something. You know, we all have something. For me, it's dancing, it's being in silence, it's being in nature as well, is something that I love to do, and it recharges me. Sometimes I don't have the opportunity to be directly in nature, so we have to be smart and have what I love to call like a self-care emergency kit.
Right. Okay.
So and you list down all the things that you know recharge you. But let's be real, because we all have a busy schedule, and you're going into a forest. I might have to go for an hour drive to get into a forest. But let's say if I'm, but if I'm, if I have just 10 minutes and I just need that moment of silence, then I just say to the people around me, hey, I just need 10 minutes of silence and I'll get back to you. Right. So create a self-care emergency kit, you know, with listing all of the ways you recharge your batteries, you replenish yourself. Some of those are going to be daily self-care practices. You might notice that there are things you love to do that recharges your batteries, but they might be spread over something that you could do every week, something that you can do on a monthly basis. You know, we're creative here. But the self-care kit is an important component of our daily life. It should be a practice.
So I guess, I mean, to know that you need to do those type of things, you need to be quite self-aware, don't you? Because I know, like for myself, sometimes I get so involved in my work, maybe, and kind of there's a voice at the back of my head saying like, yeah, you should really take a break right now. I'm like, be quiet, I still have a lot of things to do.
Of course. So that voice is actually the guilt voice. Yeah. You know, the voice that tells you you have to do this, you should do that. You cannot allow yourself to stop. You know, who do you think you are? You don't deserve this. You're not worthy. You haven't done enough. So this is perfectly normal. And here is where I'd love to invite us to start thinking from a place of, let's not be unconscious, let's be conscious, okay? So let's look into what is I love to talk about the concept of what is enough, because that's the thing we struggle with, is have we done enough? Am I enough? Did I do enough? You know, we struggle with this, and it's so visceral sometimes, you know. We feel it in our bodies, like we're not enough, I didn't do enough, maybe I could do more. So we've got to be honest with ourselves. Where is the line of enough? What is enough? So I love, you know, the women listening to us right now to just give a definition of enough to yourself. When is it enough for you to stop? When is it enough for you to say, hey, you know, I just need a break? And that is something no one will tell you. You have to decide when is enough. When you know, it's the only moment where you're being honest. You know, when a mother is born, you know, when a mother is born is when she gives birth. Guilt comes with her. It's something that, you know, it's always like, oh, did I do enough for my kids? Maybe I should, you know, spend more time with them. No, you've got to define what is enough for you.
I think that's so important, and I know I don't know if it's also linked with like personality types, because for myself, I have like a type A personality. And I remember when I was working in the UAE, actually, my boss actually told me, you're doing like, you don't have to do all of that. You just have to do enough. Just, you know, I was trying to overcompensate for some doubt in myself, or and I think I do that a lot. Like I try to.
We all do this as women, you know, we all tend to do this. And it's great that you brought this up. You reminded me, you know, it's very important to pick the women in our lives that are not only going to, you know, push us to do more and to achieve more and to be more, but really to push us to be kinder to ourselves, more gentle with ourselves, more appreciative of what we're giving in our day-to-day. We are creatures of that love to give. You know, for women going through your mindfulness course, they're in because they want to give more. They want to be the best they can be. And that's the nature of a giver. We don't know when to stop because giving is always overflowing. But here's the thing. The more you take care of yourself, the better you can give. And I need to repeat this. The more you take care of yourself, the better the quality of your giving. Because what happens to us is when we exceed our capacity, we then feel resentful. You know, I know you've heard a lot of women saying, you know, I can't stand my kids right now, I can't stand my partner right now, because they've given so much that we're depleted. So when you feel resentment, this is an indication, it's actually a symptom of overgiving, of not replenishing your energy. So the moment you feel this, it means, hey, I'm not giving myself those 10 minutes of just, you know, recharging my batteries. So I'm able to give more. So I'm able to be there, fully present for everyone that matters and everything that matters to me.
Including yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in our group, there's some women that maybe they feel that they've been giving and they've kind of lost themselves, and they might not even know, like, they might not remember what it is they like to do for self-care. You know, they've put themselves in that position for so long. So what would you suggest? What are some ways that they can kind of get back in touch with themselves and remember?
I love your question. You know, it's so true. And it's something that I love to talk about with. So the first thing that comes to my mind, and I always tackle that. I'm like, you know, first of all, look at the part of you which is whimsical. You know, the one that's like, I want to do this. I don't want to do that. So I ask for, so what do you really want to do? And it might be something a bit outrageous. It might be something that you've been dreaming secretly. You know, I'd love to do that, but I never did it. We all have that. You know, you just have to really tap into that part of you which is a dreamer and that wouldn't try things out. Usually women love things around exploration and dancing and creativity and being out there and trying something new. And it's always in that realm of exploration, you know. So look at where your curiosity lingers. You know, look at where your curiosity, we always have a place where our curiosity lingers. I know my curiosity lingers always to like a new dance or, something new happening in the world, or wow, a country I would love to explore or visit. So look at where your curiosity lingers. I know we're talking about self-care, but sometimes self-care is just reading about stuff. You know, we forgot that self-care to you might be different than my self-care. So look at where your curiosity lingers, and it can take you into that place where, oh, that's the way I want to recharge my batteries. Another way that I would suggest is to have an exploration menu, to put things like an exploration menu. And I love that. You know, it's like you first of all, sorry,
try this, try that. Yeah.
Yes, and first of all, you have certain things that come to your mind, so you write them down. Oh, I want to try this, I want to try that. So you write them down, and then you can kind of do a survey for around you with the people that you know, you trust, and you know they love you to bits, and ask them like, what do you think I should try out? You know, and they could give you a lot of ideas, and you could be like, oh, I didn't think of that, and you take on the ideas that feel good to you. Again, you know, self-care should feel good to you. It's not about if doing something does not feel good to you, then, and it does not recharge your batteries, then it's not your thing. You know, that's it.
I have to go to.
Yes. It has to feel good. It has to feel good. You know, the exploration of pleasure is something that sometimes is taboo. And by the way, taboo in all cultures, you know, that exploration of pleasure. Does it feel good to me? We're constantly moving ourselves towards obligation. I have to go to the gym. Who said that you want to get fit getting into the gym? Maybe you're someone that loves dancing. Maybe you're someone that loves swimming. Maybe you're someone that loves archery, and archery is your sport. So look at the places where you feel good and expand that feeling of feeling good. That's something that I insist on.
Yeah, I love that, because yeah, it's so true. At the end of the day, it's all about how you feel, isn't it? And if you your whole day feeling not miserable, but you feel like obligated to do this, obligated to do that, and you don't have that feeling of joy, even if it's just for a very short time. Yesterday I read a study, and it said, like, even if you have just 1 minute of joy several times a day, it really improves the quality of your life. Just, it doesn't have to be like a great big thing, just small moments of joy a couple of times a day. And I think that's really important, that you don't have to
absolutely And what I love to add to what you said, because that's so true, is that we have to be proactive about our joy. Our joy does not come on a silver platter, you know, and expanding that joy. We know what makes us joyful. I know that, for example, what makes me joyful is being in nature, being with my family, having meaningful conversations, being of contribution, creativity, exploration. I know all of this, and all of us, we have that place where we know gives us joy, and it's our responsibility to create those moments in our day-to-day life. Because I tell you, we're all busy. Okay, that's, by the way, that's another thing I wanna insist on. When you know what is that joyful thing you want to do, or what is that self-care you want to do, you need to block it in your agenda, in your diary, in your calendar,
Yes.
on your phone, with an alarm, like you're blocking anything, your dentist appointments, your kids' parties, your, everything that you have to do. You have to block the time for yourself. That's, if it's not in your calendar, it does not exist. So that's an important thing as well that I want to insist, because we were like, oh, I want to do this, and then I'm busy. Yeah, we're all busy, but if you don't put it in your schedule, then it doesn't happen. And I can tell you, it's a practice. By the way, self-care is not like click of the button. For some of us, it's very tough. For me, it was a journey for me to block it in my calendar and to say, I am going to do this and I'm going to commit to it because I know it makes me feel better. So for those of us who feel like, oh, I'm not able to make it happen, I'm not being consistent, it's okay. It's part of the journey, And why for some of us it's a bit difficult, because we need to look at how the women in our lives actually are leading their womanhood, or leading their motherhood, or leading their femininity within their couple. We need to look at our lineage of women in our families, like what was passed down in terms of behaviors, in terms of beliefs that we should be as women, as mothers. So for me, for example, and I love to share my own example, and I want to invite the women here also to be very honest, to bring that kind of subconscious into the conscious, because that can be very helpful in having more compassion towards yourself as well. So for me, like in my lineage of women, so grandmother, mother, we have a lot of there was this passed down, which is we have to be perfect, we have to give our 100%. There's also that notion of women have to do everything. We have to work, we have to be smart, we have to be solution oriented. So there was a lot of being on duty, giving our maximum. It's never enough. We need to do more. We need to be the best. What is the next best thing to do? And so this can lead a lot of women to burn out, actually. My grandmother burnt out, my mom burnt out, I burnt out. Right. But I burnt out when I was unconscious about this behavior. So when I look back, and I had conversations as well with my mom where I was like, we cannot continue and sustain that level of inhumane way of being in the world, where we cannot be perfect. This is something that we have to accept as well. Sometimes we can't be all the time 100%. And the moment where I started, realizing that this is something that I've been passed down unconsciously, but I do not want to take it moving forward. This is such a powerful choice that we make as women when we realize that the unconscious behavior become conscious. The way the beliefs that were passed down, we need to kind of think, does this belief serve me?
Yeah.
Yes, no. If it doesn't serve me, then hey, why am I believing that belief that doesn't serve me? Yeah. So we have a conscious choice in looking at what was passed down that we want to use, also educating our children. There are certain things that we didn't like. Do we want to pass them down? So we need to also be aware of that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, looking back at that lineage, noticing what are the behaviors and patterns and beliefs that do not serve us around womanhood and motherhood.
Yeah. That's so interesting, and I love that you said to look back and see, because I've been doing a lot of work in this area as well right now about things that we did or saw or heard when we were children, and how that's affecting us in our adult lives. And it really is amazing, because before you're 7 you pick up so many messages, and those kind of get internalized as beliefs, don't they? And then sometimes when we're adults, we do things and we're like, why do we do that? Oh, well, you know, that's how my mom did it. Or and so really questioning, you know, is that what you want? What is that? Is this something that's helping me or hindering me? And you know, as a mom, I've also seen, you know, my own daughter say something to me that I've been like, oh no, and then no, that sounds great. You know,
Yeah.
oh, that's not good, and that she learned from me. And so yeah, I think it's really interesting to look at that and really make a conscious effort to
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. And you know, I love to make things tangible, because because what you shared right now is part of self-care and self-compassion. You actually gave an example, as when you're being proactive about exactly that example you gave. And the way, like, to make it practical is when you start looking, when you start noticing, when your mind says, I should, I have to, this is the moment you've got to ask yourself, am I deciding that? Because if I'm deciding that, I would say, I want to do this. Not I have to or I should. Nothing is I have to or I should. Do I want to do it? Yes or no? When you say I want to do it, this is the moment where we're very powerful as a woman, as a partner, and as a mother, and as a professional. When we say I should do this, I have to do this, it comes from a place of somebody else is telling us that this is the way it should be done. Do we agree with it? Yes or no?
It's so cool. And I think your brain really listens to those messages, don't they? And
absolutely,
should, could, oughta, they're so wishy-washy that we just don't get.
But we all do it. I just want to say, you know, I do it. We all do this, but it's just that mindfulness, catching ourselves, you know.
Yeah, awareness. Okay, well, these are really interesting points. So let's move in a little bit more into relationships. So I wanted to ask you, first of all, because if you're you know, married or with a partner, once you have kids, that tends to make a huge change in the relationship. And something that's I always find really interesting is some parents say, well, the child comes first now, and other couples, they say, no, we come first and the child comes second. And I just wanted to hear your opinion about that.
Absolutely. First of all, you know, when a child comes into our life, it's such a pivotal time. You know, as a mother, you know, as a human, as a dad, it's like, whoa, what happened here? And so it's like we have to also, becoming a parent does not come with a manual. It does not come with a manual, and so we need, it's like we need to readjust who we are, like our new identity. And it's like we're saying goodbye to, you know, our old identity with our kid, you know, without the kids, and it's like we're becoming something else with that child. So my perspective on this, it depends really on the partnership. But for me, a healthy partnership is a partnership that understands that there is my relationship with my child, my relationship with myself, my relationship with my partner. So our relationship, the relationship with the child, and the relationship with myself that does not involve anyone. The person who's able to understand that we need to flow between that, between being the parent, being the woman, being the woman in the relationship. So how do I bring this down in a practical way? The child is important. That's for sure. You know, the child at the beginning depends on you. But as a woman, and I'm just going to speak as a woman right now in the couple.
Yeah.
We if we do not understand that our couple, it has an entity and a life of its own, then there's a moment we are actually going to feel very very distant from our partner. You see, so for all these different relationships to work, we have to understand that there's a relationship, there's a time for my relationship with my child, but I identify when this time is. There's a time for my relationship with myself, aka my dreams, my work, my self-care, my stuff that I don't need to justify to anyone because this is my life. And then there is my relationship with my life partner, our dreams, our goals, our stuff together, our moments. And again, what was the behavior or the pattern or the image or the belief that was passed down from your lineage in terms of couples? Was it, I need to dedicate my whole life to my kids and I do not exist anymore? This exists a lot in many societies, and not only the conservative one, even in the most advanced and the most open-minded societies. Absolutely, because this is what was passed down. You forget yourself because your child is here. For example, for me, no, I come from it's interesting, I come from a lineage of women who understood that they have their own thing. And it's not only my man, my kid, you know, it's also, there is me in this equation. And for example, my mom, if I have to say what she passed down, she's like, you know, I knew, this is what my mom said. She's like, there is a moment for you kids where I know that I fed you, I played with you, and I bathed you, and we studied together, and we had a moment together, a quality time together. And then, you know, 7 p.m., it's time to unwind and to go to bed. And then she would say, 8 p.m. is the time for the grown-ups. Right. And this is the moment. And she's been telling, you know, even now she tells me, you know, yeah, there's a moment for me and your father. And this moment has nothing to do with you guys. You know, I love you to bits, but I need to also feel that I'm a woman, you know. And wow. My mom is really a mom. I mean, my mom is like, again, she's 150%. So I love that she said that. And I constantly also share this with my friends as well, because again, you know, as a mother, we come with a guilt feeling, and then we're like, oh, you know, my kid. But again, what is enough? When can you say, I gave enough to my child? No one can decide this for you. My mom decided this for herself. I decide this for you. Decide this for yourself. But we have to say, okay, this is where I gave enough today. And believe me, this dynamic with our children really makes you feel that, again, you're not depleted, because you are recharging your batteries with your, you know, your partner, or with other things that you want to do. It's not constantly driven by guilt.
Yeah. That's really interesting, because my parents had a similar, I guess, relationship, like a very loving relationship, and they definitely had their own time. But my mom's passed away, but she was a really wonderful mother. I never, you know, looking back, I'm like, how did she do all that stuff?
Yeah, how did they do all that?
She was a runner. She did extra classes. She had her career. But she really took care of us. And then she had you know, my parents had parties and would go out.
Yeah.
Go out for dinner with the two of them, and go on holidays. You know, they go away for a week, and we'd have a babysitter, and that was really a good model for me, course, I thought everybody was like that, because when you're a kid, you just think that's how it is. But then you see it's often not. And sometimes it is a struggle. Even now, in my relation, my husband's a chef, so just different working hours and things. But we just make it work somehow. Like we we just make it work. And I think, like, if we didn't make an effort to have that time together and to do things together, without the kids. Of course, we love doing stuff with the kids as well, but yeah, I don't know. We definitely wouldn't be as close as we are. Married 20 years now, 21, I think. And but like, you grow together, and yeah, I just see a lot of friends, people I know, and you see it goes one way or the other, really. And I think it's so important for people to realize that it's okay to, because I think it's another guilt thing. It's like, no, I can't go out with my husband because I need to, what about the kids? I don't want to leave the kids, or
yes, this is a very common, it's so true, it's very common. I see this a lot lately, and when I go, and it's funny that we have a very similar kind of parent relationship, you and I, where my parents also, they traveled and they did stuff, and it's exactly what you said. Yeah. It's exactly, I'm going to use your words. You created your own model that works for you.
Yeah.
Each and every one of us, we know our own reality. Your husband works crazy hours. You have to kind of create a time together. We all have different realities. We've got to have our honest discussions, sometimes with our partners, to create that time, that quality time together, because it's not about just time. It's about quality time. For example, for our kids, by the way, kids need two things. They need to feel loved, and they need a routine.
Yeah.
They really don't care that you'll be with them 24 hours a day, even if they do the guilt trip and manipulate you, like, oh, Mom, you're going again. I do this until now, and I'm 40 something. So I'm like, Mom, no, you're going, but bottom line, this is what kids need. And so trust your model, create it. Do not compare yourself to other people's relationships, because they have a different life than yours, and then look at, sometimes we have to put our hand in our pocket and invest in the help we need, so we're able to be doing things that makes us feel, again, that we're joyful, that we're happy. And again, it's not a one size fit all, for some people. Some people tell to me, for example, that they felt that being a mother, like, imprisoned them. We have those honest conversations where they felt they were free spirits and they wanted to travel. And I'm like, but why can't you do this? And they're like, oh, I can't. I should be with again, it's I can't, I should. I have to. And I'm like, wait a minute, my mother, like, back in the 70s, we didn't have a mobile phone. We didn't have, those security cameras, all of these things that can make it easier for us to go away. And they did what they wanted to. And here I am, and I'm perfectly okay. I survived.
Yeah. And I think the same, like, maybe I saw that happening with, I go away to conferences a lot, because I guess that for me feels like self-care.
Yeah. Yes.
I love it. I love to be in a live event and learning and with like-minded people. So I do still feel a little bit guilty when I go, leaving my daughter with my husband, to do everything. But he's really supportive, because he knows I need, he sees when I come back how, I'm lit up and so excited and things. So I think you just have to, there's no right or wrong. Like you said, you just have to find a model that works for you, but don't lose it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said the magic word, lit up. Everybody's happy when a mother is lit up. Everybody's happy when a woman is lit up. When we're in a bad mood, everybody's kind of, oh my God, everybody's a mess. The whole house is a mess. Our partners are a mess. They don't know what to do. What can I do to make her smile? I don't see her teeth anymore. And the thing is, it's as simple as just us just understanding that we are the soul of our families. When we're okay, everybody's okay. And we don't think that. We think that, oh, I need to keep on, because then everybody's, are you okay? The thing is, when we're okay, everybody's okay. So let us also put our attention on what makes us feel good, so everybody can also feel good. Everybody benefits from that. Believe me.
So true, right? Yeah. And I think we forget these things. You're just going through your daily life. So what would you say to somebody who's like, okay, I want to do this. I want to have my self-care and my relationship with my significant other and my relationship with my kids, but I don't know where to start. Like, what small things can they do today, maybe, or tomorrow, to start on that path? Because it's not easy just to change your whole life overnight if you like stuck in a bad habit or bad routine. So small steps maybe that can lead to bigger ones.
Of course. First of all, to be honest with yourself, is that important for me, self-care? Because we don't want it to be something like on an intellectual level. Yes, we should self-care. Yeah, but I mean, is it important for me? Yes, no. When we see the importance of something, then the ideas flow. So the first question is, do I find taking time to replenish and recharge my batteries important for me today? Yes or no? Usually it's a yes. We need to recharge our batteries. So when it's a yes, what do I know for sure will replenish my batteries? And then we listen to whatever comes to us. I know, the women here are creative. We have lots of ideas. The third thing is, put it in your calendar. Put it in, block the time for yourself. And then it's okay if it's a process. It's okay if you do it and you still feel a bit on the edge. Oh my God, I'm doing this. I'm not able to relax because I'm thinking about when I need to cook. I need to still work with my kid on lesson number 3 of, history, what happened during World War II. And then, everything comes in your head. But even if you feel this, keep going and do it, because we only understand something when we do it. You won't know, and then, ideally is to feel that sense of you've recharged your batteries. Then you come back, you're awake, you're fully present, you're there 100% for people around you. So the other also question that we need to be answering between you and yourself is, what will recharging my battery bring more of? For me, for my family, for my partner, what will it bring more of? And really be honest, because that is going to keep you going. When you understand, so for me, I know that when I overexert myself, I'm completely disconnected. And I've heard this from a lot of women, where you just want to go into your room, you want to close the door, and you just want to be there, and you just leave me alone. I don't want to talk to anyone. And that happens to a lot of women who, cross their limits with themselves, cross the limits of their capacities, and do not understand that you need to rest. You need to rest. You need to pause. Pausing is as important as doing. Resting is as important as taking action. you know. So when we understand the importance of both of them, we just understand that it's like this, you know, like there's a day, there's a night, you know, like there's I'm eating, I'm sleeping. It's part of that. It's just part of that.
Yeah. That's those are great tips, and I love that word, you know, pause, because it can just be a moment, can't it? It doesn't have to
Absolutely.
be an hour.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Start with, you know, just take a minute to yourself, have a cup of tea and clear your mind, and go outside and sit on the balcony or whatever it is that you like. But I think, yeah, the more that we can bring in these types of self-care, the better the whole family unit becomes in general. So Cherine, just we're coming to the end of our time. So just, do you have any other last minute tips or suggestions that you want to share, or advice for our viewers that are watching today?
Yes. A lot. The first thing I want to say is trust. You know, trust yourself, trust your pace, trust your own way of mothering, trust your way of wanting to relate to your partner, trust your feelings, and understand that you are so important. You're the dynamo behind everything in your life, in your work, in your family, with your kids, with your life partner. And when you understand that, you'll understand how much it's important to pause and slow down. And there is no other person like you. You know, you have your own way of, you know, wanting to mother and wanting to relate to your partner, and you've got to trust that. And also respect that you're a human being. Respect that you're tired and you've got to rest. And know that you're enough. And for me, I always say, you know, when you say to people, you are enough, you're doing enough, my wish is that the women listening to us, that they know themselves that they're enough and they're saying it to themselves. That's my biggest wish. You know, the moment a woman says, I have done enough today, and I am enough. And tomorrow I'll know more and I'll do better maybe, but today I have done enough with what I know and who I am.
Right. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, great advice. Well, thank you so much, Cherine, for coming on and sharing all your strategies and advice. And I'm sure the viewers are going to take a lot of these tips and put them into practice. And please go on the Facebook group and tell us what you're doing. We'll also be putting on and sending out Cherine's website address and some information. She has several courses that are really great, and if you resonated with this, you might like to study with her more and learn more about how you can bring these practices into your life and really get your power back. So thank you once again for coming on. I really enjoyed that and really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. You're wonderful. I love your generosity, and thank you for this beautiful conversation we had together.
Thank you. Thanks.